call ourselves Dene.
Yeah. Hello, Salot in a good afternoon, dudes. We're live. Saskatoon, yeah, many nations dancers. Kusi, Willis Janvier, Nintelas tours the Dene Yati podcast, Clearwater River Dene Nation band member at the SQ, and I come to you live in the Treaty 6 territory. This is Treaty 6, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Oh,
Nezum.
Najur Gabi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ayat ish kedo should na TJ warn ginashia. Tloged in Atkurich slump and Bushin, Kilichini does not a sheet that she shake with other national. Yes, let such cheat as a candle organic co. I guess audit Nasha, which end a could a Treaty 6 territory Yanagiko, Saskatoon, Saskatoon, Kolganigiko, Cash Enkad, Atlanta. Let's see here. I'm going to practice my Dene. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So Atlanta, TJ Warren, let's see. TJ Warren Hushe. Is that right? Hushe, yeah. And then let me keep going here. I got to remember this. Saskatoon, Utse Utsi. Is that right? Utse Utsi? Yeah. And then Red Mesa, Arizona, Cole Nestor. Is that correct?
What's the answer?
Cole, yeah. Cole, Red Mesa, Arizona, Navajo Nation, Nestor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, I've come from the Dene people. We refer to ourselves as Dene down in Arizona. And so this is the Navajo Nation, what we call the Netka. And so it's always good to be a part of our relatives up in the north. You know how we refer to you guys up here?
How?
We refer to you guys as the Nenahagloni. The Nenahagloni means our other Dene relatives. So the Nenahagloni. So anytime I'm back home and I tell them about being in Canada, living in Canada, or living in the far north, you know, they always say, "Oh, the Nenahagloni," mean that where our other relatives are, and so that's how they refer to everybody up in the north, the Nenahagloni. So down there, when we say Navajo land or Dene territory, we say the Netka, the Netka, yeah, the Netka,
yeah.
Yeah, so it's beautiful language, right? It's always great to celebrate that and to share that. I'm here with Many Nations Dance Group, and what we call powwow in this region, down in Arizona, you know, many of us, even though we don't have powwow ceremonies or those types of ways, we adopted those types of ways. Yeah. And so amongst our people, we refer to this as a atsa be'ejish, meaning the eagle feather dance. So that's how we. So dance. Eagle is atsa, and then we say atsa bat'a. That means eagle feather. Atsa bat'a be'ejish, meaning the dancing with the eagle feathers. And so that's how we refer to powwow dancing down in Dene Nation. Or the Dene Nation. Yeah.
Cool. I was gonna say, we don't obviously, you know, we don't have the powwow. We have the drumming, but we don't have that powwow. And I had this conversation with the Tsutina Nation.
Oh yeah.
And he said that, you know, the influence came from the people, the Blackfoot around them. Is that how it worked for you guys as well?
Yeah, we have a lot of in our community. We have a lot of people that are married into our community from different tribes and nations.
Yeah.
And in that region, a lot of those in-laws, of course, you know, they always bring in different things. And so out of respect for showing respect for their culture, their ways, some of our people have picked up those types of ways too. And so we have many different types of ceremonies in our community that are still there. We're still very strong in our language too. So I myself, I'm 37 years old. I still speak my language very fluently. I wouldn't say as fluent as I used to be because I've been living in this territory so long. I even picked up some Dene language. So, you know, as an in-law, that's one of the things that we're taught as men is that wherever we marry, that's where we go and we take care of our women there, our children, and our community. And so coming into this territory out of respect, you know, well, out of curiosity too, I always try to learn a little bit more about them, practice their ways out of respect for this community that I live in.
Yeah.
And I was really curious too, because when you're an in-law, you always want to know what your in-laws are saying about you, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
some of the first words that I learned, of course, were the dirty words, but then everybody, they always learn the dirty words first. But the other first word that I learned was how they refer to me. And so they refer to me in the Cree Nehewak territory as Nahaksim.
Yeah.
Nahaksim means my son-in-law.
Okay.
And so every time I heard that, my ears would perk up and I start to kind of listen to more Cree and more,
Yeah.
And then over the years, I was like, well, might as well go, full ways. And so I started to learn because my daughters, I want them to be fluent in their languages, whether it's the Dene or the Nehioe women, the language there. And so I picked up an introduction. And so if there's any Cree Nehioak listeners out there, this is my introduction. Dansa kadamskak na wakakio tijawor nitsiga soon, Red Mesa uchinia. Saskatoon and so that's basic introduction to the Cree language too.
Cool.
Yeah, should I do my Spanish introduction too?
If you want, yeah. It's I mean, I wouldn't. I thought you would have been Cree with that introduction there for sure. That's
I fooled you, eh?
Yeah. If I didn't know, but it's pretty cool. You're the first Navajo on my show here, Dene Yati. Obviously, we're all related.
Oh.
And do you have any maybe stories from your nation there down in Arizona about how maybe we separated from you guys to with us, the Athabascan people?
Yeah. Amongst our ceremonial leaders, we recite a lot of our old emergent stories, as they refer to it. And then in our emergent stories, our ceremonies, they tell of where we originate and then kind of how we got to where we are now as Dene people. And some of the stories that always reference our Dene relatives up in the north is the separation during the Ice Age. Okay. And so during that separation, there was a story at one time. They said there was an old man and his relatives, they were traveling, and there was a big crack in that iceberg. And as they started to separate, they said he reached out with a pipe, and he tried to reach out with a pipe to bring his relatives back together. And the pipe broke. And so the Dene down in Arizona, the Navajo people, the Dene, as we refer to ourselves, we have the small end of the pipe. And so if you ever go to Arizona and you see our pipes down there, they're very just the stem, the short pieces. And so all of that is represented in that too. And even in our stories of emergence and these different places that we have gone, they kind of reference markers throughout, traveling in different parts all the way back down to the Southwest. And so even though we aren't from the Southwest, that's the culture that we end up practicing because of the surroundings and the environment. So that's what changes our communities. I don't know if you know that, but the things that change our nations and our tribes is the influence of not only the environment, but sometimes the tribes and nations around us. Just like the Stutena, right? It's Stutena. My brother is married into the McGinnises in Stutena. And so I have 4 nephews over there too. And so the McGinnises
all over the place.
Those are my relatives. The Denes, we kind of, we're trying to take over the world. We're trying to take over the world. And so we're always got kids everywhere. And so I'm holding it down in this region for all the Dene over here too.
I'm sure there's plenty down in here to that can help you out. I know there's a bunch of people from the Losh that live around here.
I actually I took one as my relative, Jordan Cheecham Klein. And so that's I always call her my sister, and so she's always helping me out from my Dene relatives in the north and teaching me some of the practices and some of the ways here. And so if there's any relatives out there that want to, pick me up as their relative, I like caribou, I like caribou hides and some drums. And so send it my way.
Ne Zoom had come on, Chiao, Nino Huts easy, Saskatoons and Bananu, Nida Shet, could you do afternoon, Dene Yati podcast, or obviously, Saskatoon, we're going to live, no, about. Shown many nations dancers. Power that really had ne zui. So Warren, how long have you lived in this area?
Going on about 15 years, and I've been in this region, but I've always seen Canada as my second home since I was a youth, a child. My parents used to travel up into this territory, all the time, and following our relatives that also powwowed and danced and went to many different communities like that. But also some of our ceremonial leaders, they get called up here. Our medicine men from down in Arizona, they always want to help relatives, whether it's here in the Nihilwak territory or the Dakotas or the Nakota people, or else even up into the Dene communities. And so I always have medicine men that came up this way too. And so we would always travel with different people and see them around. And it was always a part of us in terms of like, it was always felt like home because we would see our Dene relatives too.
Yeah.
And my grandpa, his name is late Franklin Warren Sr. He was kind of our patriarch in our community, and he's the one that adopted some of these ways for us, whether it was through powwow, whether it was through the Native American church kind of peyote ways of singing, that type of thing. And so we have all of our ceremonial sacred singings and stuff that I participate in, that I'm part of, that I lead in some of my communities as a youth, but I also participate in powwow and some of these other ceremonies that our people adopted. And we don't really discriminate in terms of some of the ways that people pray. That's part of every person's own story, but we always try to keep our foundation from the Dene aspects of our ways of life. And so we call it Dene Ketche, which means from the Dene way. So Dene Ketche, that's how we refer to it. And then Dene Benan Tenigi, Dene Benan Tenigi, that means the Dene teachings. Dene Benan Tenigi, that means the Dene teachings. We always try to incorporate those in every aspects of our lives. And so whether it's through powwows, whether it's through the other ways of ceremonies, those are always important. And when I came up here, people, I meet different people, even from Black Lake, even from, the Snicho Denes and different, different Denes. And we always compare words. And some of the fun ones are always numbers, right? And so the way we say numbers where I come from, we say asla nakit. That's how we say 1 through 10. Even how we say hand, we say Allah. Shallah means my hand, Nilla means your hand, and Allah means a hand. So Shallah, Nilla, Allah.
That's very similar.
And then like some of the words that are regional are very similar. But when we have influences from other cultures and foreign things, that's where our language changed. And so because we're in the Southwest, a lot of our language is influenced by Spanish. And so, for instance, an example of that would be apple. Apple is not from, the right where we live in that region. Anyway, and so there's a foreign fruit. And so when we say apple, we say bilasana. And bilasana comes from the word manzana from Spanish. And so that's the way they described it. And we started to say, okay, well, bilasana. And then how do you guys refer to like the settlers to white people?
Totine, or depends what area you're in. Banlai.
We say bilagana.
Bilagana.
And the word originates from bislagana. That means the ones that we fight with. The ones that we fought with. And so that's reference to all that. And then the Spanish people that came, the conquistadors, we referred to them as Naque. Naque means the ones that walked around, the ones that were walking around. And so those conquistadors, the first ones, they came, we seen them walking around, exploring, So that's how we referred to them, Naque.
That's how a lot of, I've had Dene people from the Saizi Dene and, people from La Loche area and everything. It's a description of something. That's how the word comes about. And that's very similar to you for sure. And how about road?
For road, Atkin. Atkin, Atkin. And that's what we refer to as the road. And in our culture, we adopted kind of the Southwest culture too, in a way that our livelihood and our philosophies originate from, things that we do there. And so the way that we talk about our road of life, we refer to as Kadedin Atkin, mean the corn pollen road. And so we use corn pollen for prayer quite often, whether it's white cornmeal or it's the yellow corn that comes off the tassel of the tip of the corn. So we use that every time we make offerings and prayers. That's what we use.
It's corn.
So so we see kadadin atkin. So when we're telling somebody you should walk that good road, we should walk that good dene way of life. We're saying kadadin between kananga. That person is walking on that kadadin road. That means that good corn pollen road.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I had my guy here. He said we say tuluke. Tu means water.
Yeah.
Is that
we
how
say
you
to.
Ko?
Yeah, to. So the water. Yeah.
Tu. Yeah.
How about fish? We say so.
Sure.
Yeah, we say so. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
How about I know that what's different is a horse and dog.
Yeah.
I think ours is backwards or yours is backwards. One of the ways, but we say
Well, maybe yours backwards.
we say, it must be the parallel, eh? We're close.
She is dog.
We say she for horse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then for dog, we say set cha.
She cho.
Yeah, we say set cha
for dog.
Yeah, we say set cha for dog. And then we say she for horse.
Really?
Yeah. Switch.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. Yeah. I'm glad you're here with me today. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Yes, Nezu. And going back to the road thing, it's funny you said the influence down in South. Obviously, there's no frozen nothing.
Yeah.
But for road, it's frozen water.
Tkin.
Yeah.
We say frozen ice. We say tkin. Like frozen ice. Yeah, tkin. Yeah, that's how we refer to it too. So water would be to. When we say tkin, that means like it's ice.
Yeah.
Tkin.
Ten. Yeah. Henha or belu or.
And when you guys say nejo, we say nejone.
Nejone.
Yeah.
So good.
Nejone means it's all good. And then when we say nejon, that means it's good. We say nejone, it means it's beautiful. And then when we greet people, we don't say atlandete, of course. So we say yat e.
Yat e.
Yat e.
Yat e. What's that mean?
Yat e means it's good.
Okay.
So it's almost like when you're meeting a person, you say, "Is it good?" And they respond with the same word yat e, but they say, "Yeah, it's good." We say, when I say yat e, someone would respond with "oh," which means yes. "Oh, yat e" means yes, it is good. So that's how we greet people. Yeah. We have no word for hello.
Yeah.
No indigenous language have word for hello.
The Sayizi Dene, they say watzia.
Watzia. Yeah.
Watzia.
Yeah.
I learned that on doing this on my show, and that was pretty cool. Because that's the one thing people always ask you, non-indigenous people.
Yeah.
How do you say hello in your language?
Yeah.
And until I've met, there's a woman from way up north, the Lac Roche area. He said, we say watzia. And hello, adlanete. Hello, how are you? So, that's pretty neat. Nezu.
Yeah, nejone. Yeah, by hens and non-con the nayat ilgi calling conshas con but auto con a tabejigi holiganigi con prairie chicken dance dot con grass dance traditional fancy jingle at egita beda ajistro les con sa the seneligi con the atkahigi by het that in zenogo con na ha da ile tole by het that in zenathan con many nations here many nations dance holiganigi con by het that in zen what are they? So I just kind of basically told you that we're here. You're going to have many different dance styles that are going to be shared. Grass dance, fancy, all the various styles of dances and powwow. And we have men here that are singing with the drum. The drum in our language is referred to as a sa. And a sa means the drum that it's almost like a pail. Like a bowl, a sa. That's how we refer to it. So that's what that drum is.
Yeah.
That's how we call that. And then the singers, the hatkasiki, that's what we refer to them. The singers, the hatkasiki.
Yeah.
And so there's the ones that do the singing. And so a lot of what we're doing here today is in reference to being able to celebrate, to heal, and to help others. And that's the way that we understand that powwow originated. And so if you learn the history of the story of the powwow, it goes back to one of the oldest style of dances, what they call the grass dance.
Yeah.
And the grass dance originates from the right here in Cree territory, what they refer to it as this powwow, they call it Bwat Samoan. Bwat Samoan means the
Samoan.
Dakota dance.
Mm.
And the Dakota dance is a reference to the grass dance style itself. It said that grass dance style comes from the Dakota people. And so if you go back to the Dakota people, as you start making that, you go down the rabbit hole, you go to the Dakota people and you ask them, where's this dance from? They say, this is the Omaha dance, the Omaha dance. And so that takes you further, and it goes all the way back to the Omaha people from Nebraska. So the
Way
Omaha
down
people.
south.
And that's where this dance originates, called the Halushka. So power originates from there. Yeah. Ahia nan ko ba hian sen ko Dene Yati do Dene Yati holyanigi ko shaz do many nations dance troupe holyanigi ko ba hian tani ko be bansi kesigi ke Dene na hadlenigi. We think about you. We're always in our thoughts and our prayers, and we always remember all of our relatives up in the north, and that's how we refer to our Dene people in the north. Dene na hadloni de. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming on Dene Yati podcast afternoon. I look forward to watching you dance and show all your dance moves for the aunties. Huh?
Yeah.
Hey,
Merci, Cho.
Merci,
Cho.
Yeah.
We say Ahia, yeah, in Arizona. So thank you very much. And then we'll be dancing here soon with you guys.
Merci. Hey, ne zunkutla nu seneyi. Navajo nenoti no halted die. Yasa beya no hala sharing lie ho. Ayat is hallowed in a hallow and a ho soon la larsen or asi dogas near and far dene sushin and nene doga not daisy dunes in a no barrel yamali. Massi cho. Good job. Task a tuna there soon. Salias and Obayansia Tini you're gonna say hello to your relatives. No? Okay, well. Quality, Darot Azelot in a Dayoti say hi, hello. We got if you want to come say we got Cal Arcan here, turn it on.
Hey guys.
Hello, Cal. How you doing?
Check 1 2. Hey guys, Cal Arcan here. Just want to send out our gratitude to the people in La Loche, the people at Whitefish. It's been a long time since we've been up that way, so I want to thank Leonard Mongrad, the Friendship Center, Willis on his Dene Yati. He's improving every day. He's learning, and that's what life is about. We go through in different phases in a cultural way as a baby, work our way around that circle to our young people, to our adultship, and back to our eldership. And through that circle of life, we're always learning. There's always mistakes and bumps along the way. You pick yourself up, learn from those mistakes, no matter how bad you think it's going to get. There's light at the end of the tunnel. That's what we believe, and that's what we think, and we pick each other up through positive cultural values. I've had some lows. I'm not a perfect person. Me and Willis had a few trials and tribulations of our own.
Yes.
And when through those trials, we share to the young people to take a better road. Nothing is ever so bad that you can't recover from it. So our love is sent out to the community of La Loche. Again, hi, Tinigi, merci cho, merci beaucoup. We're going to get the show started here. I know some of you really want to get to bingo at 3 o'clock
at 3 p.m. I was told it's we'll have to wrap it up before they get angry with us.
Stick around with us though, and share the podcast. Not only La Loche, but everywhere. Let's send some powerful vibes from Saskatoon and La Loche. From the Cree Treaty Navajo, from Red Mesa, Arizona, and also from the Cree territory. So the Dene, the Cree, the Navajo, we're all coming together today. Our non-First Nation reconciliation happening for our eyes.
All at once. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Right? They always say the Cree and the Dene won't get along, but here we are together doing, teaming up to bring some positivity in the north. And Masi Cho, Cal, I'll let you get going.
Okay, let's get this show going.
Many
nations.
Go. Masi Cho Selotine. All the way from Saskatoon. Doon sa Dirt on a Dene Yati podcast. Live. Yeah, powwow dancing. Hell, John Thale to Bonil via. Yeah, pictures between Sapadine, Lade. And then they're gonna get going for you. Kole Adlanot Azelotine. Harold Yonsel Larson. Good day, Doreen Herman. K-LA Masi Cho. I want to see. Yes. Rachel Yayake Kut. Holly Pamela. I love this. Just popping in to say Atlanta. Wishing everybody a good day. Masi Cho. Awesome podcast. Masi Cho Tanzi Janvier. Could do Yaza. No, but it is a tilu power. Hey, no other than a Zureti, Naruf Delu Bahaldu, Iu Teodoro, Zamasi Cho. Here you go.
early 1900s, late 1800s, and so this time period is reminiscent of that. And so when we think about the historical in terms of the relationship of the things that we do, this is the time that we go back to our ceremonies, go back to our dances, return to those ways to be able to help us persevere through these times. And so, in these times when you see the social media platforms, you see many of the jingle dress dancers coming out to these areas. With that, we're going to go to our song from our singers. And again, a beautiful shout out to the singers that are here. We've got many legends sitting around the drum. And so we're very thankful to have them here. So we're going to go with the song, Women's Jingle Dress. Singers, take it away. Here we go. Many Nations Dance Group comprises of many different families as we come together, and this is a great way for us to be able to, be a part of one another's family, be an extended family. And so the Warrens have been a part of Many Nations for many years. And so next style of dance that we're going to be calling out is the women's traditional dance. And the style of dance here is one of our oldest style of dances too with the women. And the story goes that a long time ago, the women, when they came out to these ceremonies and these societies and these settings, the women that stood on the outside, danced in position. And so these women, they were the backbone of our communities, We all have a role in our ceremonies. All of these dances to bring some healing and some excitement and some beautiful indigenous ways of knowing, and also the beauty of singing song and dance through the airwaves and through the internet connection and the Wi-Fi and all of those ways that we have today. And so with that, we're ready to go to our singing and our singers. We're going to go with our dancing for the women's traditional Many Nations Dance Group. Here we go! again, as you see, all of these dance styles, they have a uniqueness to them. But the thing that we have in common is always in time and rhythm with the beat that aired here by the beautiful singing by the singers here. And again, we can't say enough about the singing as it's a big part of our ceremonies and our lodges. As you see the drum, you hear the drumming that takes place. You also hear the singing and synchronization of all of that going on. And without our singers, these dances would not be able to come to life. These ceremonies would not be able to continue. And so, again, they are a big part of our ceremonies and our lodges and our societies. And so, one thing that I realize is I start to turn into my radio voice as I'm standing here. And so it reminds me of back in high school when I was a radio DJ. And so, KRMH 89.7, rocking the res. And so we are the station that jams the nation. Hey, I still got it. So right now, we're going to go back to our next dance style, the men's grass dance. And the dance style here is the oldest of the Wachipi, of the Watsimawan, of the Powwow Circle. If you look at the regalia that is on display here, Cal, give us your best blue steel look. All right. Yeah, can you point with your lips over? Hey, that's too far. Hey. And again, we have two dancers here, Cal Arkan. And we also have Dene Yati displaying the beautiful regalia. You see some florals representative of his region and his territory. Many of our First Nations tribe, when you look at their regalias and the designs that they display, sometimes those are generational designs that you see representative of the communities that they come from and things like that. And so the dance style here, the oldest in powwow tradition, is what we call the grass dance. So it used to be a ceremonial society, a scout dance where men would come out, they would flatten the grass, prepare the area for the ceremonies and celebrations to take place. And so when you watch the dancers dance, the fringe that you see tucked into the regalia is reminiscent of the prairie grass blowing in the wind. And so a long time ago, this dance style originated and was a society dance. They had their own grass dance ceremonies, grass dance lodges. And over the number of years, it had been transferred all the way into this territory. So amongst the Cree and the Hiwak people, this dance was referenced as the Dakota dance, the Watsimawan. And so this is the origins of powwow right here. And as we go further back, the people who had shared and gifted this dance with them, the Dakota and Lakota people, amongst their people, they referred to this dance as the Omaha dance. And so as we continue to travel with the references and the stories, it takes us all the way back to the Omaha people. And so amongst the Omaha people, they refer to the tail dance that they dance in that region. And so a long time ago, these grass dancers, they used to wear a little bustle on the backside of the regalia. And so over time, we've seen it evolve into what we see here today. Our people were very, very contemporary people in today's society. Many things have evolved, adapted, and changed, but always in a good way. And so again, with that, we're going to go to our dance style, the men's grass dance. Turn it over to our singers. Here we go. Men's grass with Many Nations dancer, Cal and Newton. Here we go. Hey, Cal Arkan, Dene Yati with the men's grass dance style. some very, very, very great display of dancing there. And again, if you're watching wherever you're tuned in from, make sure you listen to the singing, you watch the dancing, and you guys are judging from you guys as parts of the world. And so submit all your judging scorecards into the site there. No, just kidding.
Yeah, throw your comments out. We'll see who wins.
Cal Arkan, I think you got bucked off. Hey.
Hey.
No, that's the one thing you don't want to do. That's the one thing you don't want to do at a gig is get bucked off. And so what that is references to is you either dance, you stop short, or else you dance a little bit overbeat. And so when we say bucked off, that's what we're referring to. Our next dance style that we're going to bring out here is what we refer to as a men's fancy dance style. And this is one of the old war dances, as we refer to it. And the style of dance originates amongst the Ponca, and the dance style had been transferred over to many tribes and nations over the years. And the dancers that we hear come from a long legacy of legendary dancers. You know, the father of this young man, his name was Roy Bison, and you know, they always refer to him as Crazy Horse Roy Bison. And so he's a direct descendant and relative of Crazy Horse, and so he's carrying on the legacy and the stories that they have is beautiful stories in reference to this dance style and how they received it and how they interpret it. And so my brother here, Teddy Bison, and his son, they come out to share their men's fancy dance style, to represent their Cheyenne relatives and also their Nakota relatives from the Ocean Man First Nations. And so as you watch these dancers dance, you'll see that they exude a lot of their pride and their confidence through the movements that they do. And this is one of our most extravagant dance styles. As you see, you know, you'll see him kick up in the air. You'll even see him kind of do some moves, you know, reminiscence of the Matrix and defying gravity and things like that. And a lot of the movements that he portrays, that he has learned, he's also, you know, kind of coming from that horse culture. You know, they come from horse people, and so the movements that they learn also is representative of the horses. And so as you see him kick and spin, it's all reminiscent of that. And so the men's fancy dance style is one of our most fastest and most prestigious styles of dance. You know, it takes a lot of athleticism to be able to dance this style of dance. And we're dancing here for every one of you guys tuned in. And remember that we're hoping to send out some good energy, some healing vibes. And many of us, you know, we wish we could be at a powwow. We wish we could be at a gathering where we'd be able to interact with our families and our relatives. But, you know, this is the best that we can do and provide some of the things that we're sharing with you. And so with that, we're going to go to the men's fancy dance styles. If you notice that this dance style, they carry 2 eagle bustles on their back. They also have the feathers on the top, the arm bustles. They also have ankle fur that they wear around their bells around the knees. And so this is unique to this dance style. And so as you watch them maneuver and move all parts of their body, they make every one of those feathers dance. And so one who's wearing the old eagle feather bustles, the other one is wearing the hackle bustles, the contemporary style that we see here today. And so here we go. Turn it up. Let's go. Teddy Bison, the men's fancy dance. Many Nations Dance Troupe. Here we go.
The Bison Boys from the south of Saskatchewan. Teddy Bison Chante. Oh, yeah. Chante and his father, Teddy Bison. Good song, Boy Suck. Thank you, singers. Thank you, Rocking Buffalo, and Adam. Alan as well sings with the Saskatoon Berry Singers. So thank you for being with us, Alan. We're going to go to our dancer here, our chicken style dancer, TJ Warren, of course, who's been interacting with you at the start of this show and helping us out with describing our dances and an MC here. He wears one bustle as well. And this style of dance originates from the Crow Confederacy. These dancers, of course, in our powwow society today, we have the whole Turtle Island, all of our styles that we dance, from grass, fancy, traditional, and this chicken style. All of us have our different interpretations coming from the north and the south. Of course, the dance originating in the south, and this dance reflects the prairie chickens. Is in the springtime when they do the mating season. This is a mating ritual song. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, world-class chicken dancer TJ Warren of Red Mesa, Arizona. All right, boys, how about a chicken song for TJ? Chicken dance style by TJ Warren. Thank you, TJ, for a beautiful style of dance that you shared with our northern relatives. All of you that are watching up there in the north. What do you think, Willis?
It's a good show, man. I'm honored to be with you guys here today. Me and my daughter here were hanging out. Must see show. Good job, everybody.
We're going to ask our fancy shawl dancers to come on out here at this time. Another style of dance that our ladies fancy shawl do. And we're going to ask Kara and Gracie and the girls to come on out here. Omia Sue, if you can come on out here. What's her name? Kenaba Warren. Come on out, Kenaba. And they're going to do what's a crow hop, another one of our crow styles. And this dance pays homage to the crow as they out there. A lot of times they're frowned upon in our communities, but we look at them in a different way, in a holistic view in our cultures. They're keepers of the earth. They're help keeping our land clean, and we honor them through this style of dance. So fancy shawl dancers, please step out there, and we're going to ask our singers for 2 starts of a crow hop for the shawl dancers. All right, we're going to let TJ Warren, he's been really sharing a lot of knowledge with us, and we're very thankful to have him as part of our group here. For those of you who are out there in the north, you're trying to get in shape, don't get a gym membership. Get a powwow tape or go on YouTube and do Indian aerobics right in your own living room.
Right at home, eh?
All right, I think we're queuing up our new song here. Here we go. Woman Fancy. the woman's fancy dance style there. You know, we're queuing up some second songs for everybody. And so we want to make sure that our singers are prepared. Sidestep, we're getting ready for the next song here. And so as we're going through our program, we want to make sure that we give you some specialty songs for every one of these dance styles displayed. And so when we watch these dancers dance, you know, sometimes the singers, they'll change the rhythm up for them. Sometimes they'll sing a new song that the dancers have never heard. And many times, you know, it's a friendly competition between the dancers and the singers. And so as you're watching them dance, you know, you'll see that they're trying to interpret the beat the best that they can. Many of the dancers, you know, during parts of the song, you hear the downbeats or the heartbeats as they refer to them. Dancers will try to make those movements a little bit bigger. And the dancing kind of leads, you know, is led by the singing. And so as they dance, you'll see that movement, you know, adapt to the style of beat that's being displayed or shared, and also the song. The next dance style for these women's jingle dress is the what we call the woman's sidestep. And so the fast kind of up-tempo round dance beat that we'll be seeing here. And amongst the Anishinaabe Ojibwe people, you know, the Ikwe Nagamoan, you know, this dance style originates from the ceremony of the big drum, which they refer to as the Medewin. And so in the Medewin, you know, they have the big drum lodge ceremonies, and they have these singers sing a lot of these songs where these dancers come out and dance for healing. And so the woman's jingle dress, you know, what makes it unique is they have these jingles, these cones that adorn their dresses. And as they move around, you know, you hear those sounds. And what they say is that the sounds that those jingles make, you know, it's cleansing. It's cleansing and cleaning the negative energy, the environment, the atmosphere where this healing is taking place. And so as we listen to the singers sing, you'll hear the jingles in the background. It'll also be able to help you keep in time with the rhythm too as you're dancing. And so a lot of dancers, they have different types of regalias. You see beadwork. Sometimes you also see a lot of applique work. And so that's the sewing, the applique style that you see on the regalias, on their dresses. And dancers are also carrying the eagle tail feathers as they're out there. And so this is a way that they acknowledge their spirits, their relatives, their ancestors. And so during parts of the song, they'll put their fan up into the air, capture those good energies, put out some of that healing vibes and things like that. They also carry a purse maybe, and you know, different parts of a regalias, they have different meanings and purposes. And so some wear a single feather, some wear two center feathers, some wear eagle plumes. And so as you watch the dancers dance, you know, that's the stories that we are told. And so that's what we're doing here. With that, we're going to go to song number 2 for our women's jingle dress. Here we go. Singers, take it away.
Thank you, singers. Thank you, Mizu. Thank you for beautiful dancing. All right, Dabney Warren and her daughter. We're going to call on our singers to do a specialty song at this time. Come on out here. Nathan Morris is a singer from both the nations in the U.S. as well as in the Big River Cree Nation. And a special gift that he's been given is the spirit of the drum and song. So this is Jonathan Morris. For those of you, we're going to ask a couple singers to come and help him out here, Mr. Travis and as well, Mr. We Notice here, Adrian We Notice. And you'll notice with our songs, they have one lead singer, and then the other singers will follow that lead and sing that song. And some are chant songs and some are word songs. And in a contemporary way, some of our singers add some English words to their song. And in this type of style with the hand drums that they're using, this is in the winter months, our singers travel to each other's community. And it's a friendship style of dance that they do. And because of COVID-19 and the pandemic, they haven't been able to share this style of song. And a lot of times when we see the Northern Lights in Saskatchewan here, we always think of our relatives that have gone on to the spirit world. And we always imagine that they're up there in the sky and they're dancing and they hear the power of that heartbeat of Mother Earth. Jonathan Morris has been given a beautiful gift of voice and song, and we want to highlight him here by the many nations. We've asked some of our girls to go in the background and show you that round dance style of step. So ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Morris with some round dance. Huika!
Beautiful display of round dance singing there. Before you guys take off, we just want to make sure that everybody gets some acknowledgement. In the far left there, right, we have Adrian We Notice, and so he's again from Big River First Nations. He's a lead singer also in many different drum groups. He's a champion bull rider, and if you've ever been to one of those machines there, and he's been staying on there about 8 seconds, and so champion bull rider. We also have over here Travis Toto. Those horse machines that you see outside of Walmart. He's been known to rock one of those every once in a while, and so he was actually a mutton buster when he was younger too, and so champion mutton buster. Oh, he's turned into a rodeo clown now, Cal says, and so. Cal's been teaching him all the moves there. And so I'm glad that you took on that role model position, mentor. You know, we knew somebody was going to look up to you someday. And so right in the middle, we also got Danathan Morris, a champion basketball player, a heartthrob at the moment. And so if you ever seen one of his round dance videos, that guy's got about 20,000 views. And so it's always great to have these great singers coming out representing our youth. And so these are great young men that are setting great examples. Thank you, singers. We're going to go to our next song here, and our second dance style display of second song and change up songs. We're going to have Mr. Teddy Bison. And Teddy, what are you going to ask for there? Is there anything specific?
Sing a good one. No, I don't have anything nice to say.
A man of little words, and so that's a good thing sometimes. And so when you got big mouths like me and Cal Arcan, you got to try to find that one humble guy to say, you know, a few words that, you know, doesn't take too long. And so we have our men's fancy dance style that's going to come out, and a beautiful display of father and son, you know, relationship here. You know, one of the things that we always try to do in our community is set great examples. And the best way that we can do that is by role modeling it and doing it every day the best that we can. And so as you see the young man out here, you know, he's over the number of years has always watched his father dance from the sidelines. I've seen this young man even outside of Regalia just dancing when his dad is dancing up in these celebrations. And so a beautiful display of that father and son relationship. And so, you know, we need more healthy relationships in our communities, and that's what we're always trying to advocate for. You know, every dancer that is here, there's many great qualities that we see in them, and that's why we always like to bring them forefront to our celebrations and to our presentations, because they are always great role models for our people. And so with that, we're going to go to our second song for the men's fancy dance. Singers, take it away. Here we go. Take it away. Beautiful display of the men's fancy dance style here. And again, you know, we're very thankful that we have an opportunity to share some of our greatest dancers from the Treaty 6 territory. If you don't know, you know, this area here is kind of the mecca of champion dancers. You know, a lot of great singers and dancers have come out from this territory, and a lot of these dancers are the legacies from all of those people. And so, you know, many of our communities sometimes have lost the ability to be able to share and continue these traditions. And so, you know, one of the things that we always try to do is educate our communities. Many of our ways have been taken away from us, whether it was through policy, whether it was through even education, and so legislation and things like that. And so if you don't know, you know, the potlatch ban, you know, that was enacted by the Indian Act was also one of the biggest things that had outlawed our ceremonies and our ways many years ago. And today, many of our people are reclaiming. And that's such a beautiful thing, is that we're seeing the revitalization, the resurgence of these ways. And it's, you know, a thing that we talk about as the decolonization of our people as we're going through this transition. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go to song number 2 for our men's prairie chicken. And again, Cal shared some beautiful things about the references of this dance style. And I myself, over the number of years, as I adopted this way of life, this dance style originated amongst the Blackfoot Confederacy. And the story was that the young man, he had killed a prairie chicken at one time. He ate that prairie chicken, and that prairie chicken actually visited him in his dream. And it was in his dream that this young man learned about this dance, this courtship mating season dance that they display. And so it was through that misfortune of that prairie chicken and that visiting in the dream of this young man, this young Blackfoot man, that this dance originated. And so amongst the Blackfoot Confederacy, they have a society there, what they call the Kiktoki. And the Kiktoki is the Prairie Chicken Dance Society. And amongst them, they have ceremony society members that also, are called upon sometimes when they gather and they run these ceremonies. And so it used to be a society dance where certain people were allowed to come and be a part of that. And over the years, this dance actually was adopted into the powwow circle. And so we have many people from many different tribes and nations dancing every one of these dance styles, representing their communities and their relatives. And so that's the stories that we hear, that we share. And the dance style that I dance, again, is a reminiscence of all of my own mentors and role models that have showed me the dancing over the years. One of the people who brought me into this dance was actually Ellery Starlight, and then also all the Scalp Block brothers at the time. The late Aaron, Alex, and Sheldon Scalp Block were my mentors, and then Marvin Calfrobe, Treff Deerfoot, and a lot of legendary dancers that had gone on to the spirit world. And all of those people we always acknowledge and understanding our ways of life and our dancing. And so with that, I think they prepared me a song here for a Mint Prairie Chicken. So we're going to ask for a shake and a stomp beat, 2 starts. Cal is itching to get back on the mic. I'm going to turn it back over to him. Oh,
Yeah, I just wanted you to elaborate a little bit on our headdress there with the porcupine hair and the deer tail, TJ, for our viewers.
okay. So every one of our dance styles, they all have different components to the regalia. And the men's dance styles, you see the regalia, the headdress that they wear. And this one here is called a wapeja amongst the Lakota people. And this is also something that they had adopted from the Ponca. And this headdress here is their headdress, what we refer to as a common languages. We say, we refer to it as a head roach, a headdress. And so this is made out of porcupine hair, comes from the body of the porcupine. It's the tail end you want to stay away from. That's the quills. Right here, you see all the colors here. The colors here are from the deer tail, the white deer tail that they dye. And one of the things was that these feathers that we also adorn ourselves up on top is also a representation of the warrior societies. So you see one, a representation of our own warrior. The other is a representation of the enemy or the opposing warrior. And so, we have such a high regard for all warriors from every community, whether it's our enemies or even our own warriors. And we always acknowledge and understand that they were there for a purpose. They are fighting for their own reasons. And so we always acknowledge that. The bustle that I wear as a prairie chicken dancer, this is what we refer to as a crow belt. And this crow belt originate amongst the Salagi, amongst the Crow people in Montana. And this dance or this bustle is actually stolen at one time and was worn as a war memorabilia piece. And so a way of showing mockery or showing their display of bravery, a dancer had adorned himself with this type of bustle. And some number of years ago, I went into the crow territory and I was given the right to adorn myself with one of these crow belts. And so to this day, many of our things that we wear, they are society or out something that has been gifted to relatives and families. And so all the different beautiful beadworks that you saw on displays here were either made by the dancer themselves or their immediate families. The feathers that every person wore today, they are also earned by that person. In many ways that we earn them are different today. Some of us, will earn a feather sometimes with academic achievements or things like that. When we celebrate a person, one of the highest honors you can get is earning that eagle feather. And so as you see, many of us dancers, we carry eagle wing bands. Sometimes we wear the tail of an eagle. And, Cal, there's many different things that we could talk about here today, but I'll turn it back over to you as we introduce this men's furry chicken.
Thank you, TJ. Always enlightening us with your knowledge, a young man that he is, and he carries a lot, and he tells a beautiful story of our dances and our culture. Hey, singers, how about chicken dance song? Hey, ha! Oh yeah, TJ Warren, man's Prairie Chicken Dance. Thank you, TJ. We're going to go into an intertribal. Any of our dancers that want to come on out here at this time, and we're going to do a group dance here. And we're just about coming to the end of our show here with the Many Nations dancers. Our intertribal dance is a dance and our celebration, our powwow, where it's kind of a social dance where all of the dancers come into our powwow arbor. They all come in. Some of them come and tell stories. Some of them come and just dance their step, practice their moves, listening to the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And that's our drum beat. We always talk about that our culture is interrelated with everything in nature and society. The drum beat, the heartbeat, the designs that we wear, the steps that we use. We represent, we respect Grandmother Moon, Mother Earth, and everything she gives us. So with this, I'm going to call our dancers in here at this time to come and join in. Jingle dress, fancy shawl dancers. And we're going to tell our boys for 3 starts here. TJ, we know you're in good shape. So if you want to join in, by all means.
All right. Yeah, Cal, we'll be right out there. So all the dancers, during an intertribal song, they all get to interpret their own dancing through the rhythm that is provided. So we call it intertribal beat, that we hear, because all dance styles can dance to this dance rhythm. And so as we see all the dancers come out, you see many different people, even without regalia, come out and enjoy the intertribal dancing that takes place at celebrations. And so, we had a great, wonderful presentation here. The Many Nations Dance Group is doing a farewell dance here to again, finish up our program here from the Bison family, from the Warren family, from the Hanekyu family, also from the host family here, the Arkans. We're very thankful that we're all able to come out and display some beautiful dancing. Amongst the Dene people, a lot of our lodges and our ceremonies, we still have a lot of those sacred settings where we do a lot of those things. And so amongst the many different tribes and nations, this is one thing that we share. Many of us have adopted this way of life, what they refer to as powwow. And so, anybody can dance powwow. It's just a matter of being able to learn the history, the stories, and go through that initiation process that many of us all have gone through. And so again, all that really is to bring some enlightenment, some understanding. And so we hope that this dancing and this singing brings some beautiful healing to your community. As we know that during this time, the pandemic, many of our people are in isolation. Many of us are having a loss of access in our communities. And so, we don't have that connection like we used to readily available, to us like long ago. And sometimes, if we think about this time period, the pandemic and the things that we are limited to doing, it's very reminiscent of a time in our history where we always look back on, and we think about the resilience of our people. And when we talk about the resilience, we're talking about how we are able to overcome through spirituality, through our faith, through our belief. And so with singing and dancing, with this display that's been happening here, we hope that makes it a little easier for you, or that it gives you the strength to continue on, to be able to look forward to that new day, to where we can all gather again and see our relatives, see our mothers, our fathers, our aunties, our uncles, our mushums and our gukums, our Nalis, Musans, Hitche, Nalito, Baheta Nidzinago, Ko, Many Nations Dance Group, or Yenigi Ko, Benantinigi, Etzabejiki, or Yenigi Ko, Jonaya, Baheta Nidzinago, Ko, Nejo, Do Yenigi Ho, Ko, Baheta Nidzin, Ahut Erole, Ko, Intertribal Dance, or Yenigi, Wat Simbawin, Nigamok singers, take it away. Here we go, the intertribal beat. Last song and a farewell for the Many Nation dancers. All right, from the Many Nations Dance Troupe from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, from Treaty 6 territory, from the homeland of the Métis, we want to say Ahiaha, Ai Mercy Cho, Wopida Tatanka. And again, we just want to turn it over here for a closing prayer from Alan Bonace and Cornell Tutusis, our elders on site. Hey, just kidding here. Thank you for everybody here. And we just appreciate the time and the ability to be able to dance in our settings and being able to be here once again. And so I'm going to go back over here to my relative from the Dene Yati or Dene Yati podcast. And, if there's any kind of closing questions or anything that's kind of, got you going that you're wanting to ask, feel free to do that here. How many people tuned in so far? Do you have any numbers from your analytics there?
I can only see what I got here. Right now we got 12, but other people are sharing it, and then we got it on the local channel in Lalash too.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
Yes. Nezu sa dene tladanu sen kudu zine Dene Yati podcast and youth engagement, cultural engagement. Base no, but power nunt andun zineke tladanu sen. Put it in the comments. No hala and questions. What's in it? Yeah, TJ Warren, baba. The power boss. In there, Johnson Salot in a massive show.
Yeah, for everybody who tuned in, Mercy Cho to everybody. We hope you guys like the wonderful display of dancing that has taken place here again. From all the Dene people down in Arizona and the Southwest region, our numbers are up to about 450,000 people right there registered in that community. And so I think we kind of have the biggest population of Dene people in one region. I think on reserve there, we have 25,000 square acres or miles of land. Yep. And it's one of the biggest reserves in all of North America. Mm-hmm. And so on reserve, I think there's about 200,000 people that live on reserve. And per capita in that territory, we actually had the highest number of people infected with COVID. And so,
Yeah.
you know, one of the biggest things that our community did was they enacted a lot of things right away. And so for the protection and safety of our people, you know, we had roadblocks up, closures, and we had curfews. So a lot of our people, they couldn't be out after 7.
Yeah.
They had to, you know, if people had to go to work, they had to wait till 5 a.m. in the morning when everything could open up again. And some of our communities there too, they even shut down a lot of our non-essential places. And so even our travel parks and things like that, they were closed. And so one of the biggest things that was great for our community was our great leadership, you know, the things that they did at the time. And we had, you know, just recently the COVID vaccine, a lot of our community members got vaccinated. They first started with our 65 and older, and then they went down to a 45 and over. And then now our young people are all getting vaccinated now. And you actually see the success of it by a lot of the news people who have come out, the reporters that came out and talked about the success of the rollout of a vaccination and how they need to model the Navajo Nation and the successes that they had and being able to protect everybody too. So
yeah, good stuff, man. I mean, they're doing the same thing up north too. I know they're going in little, what do you call it? Waves, I guess, or to give to people, but they started with the essential workers now and the older people, and same thing. Yeah, we had the same thing last year. I couldn't, you know, visit up north or anything.
Yeah, I think it's important to protect our people, and so abaheta nidzen nasana do che do da kegi to ko nala kegi to ko khas chinegi that enigi baheta nidzen gotle. You need to go get vaccinated, protect our people. We have to protect our elders, our aunties, our uncles, our mothers, our fathers, our nephews, our nieces, and our children. And so you know, I myself, I plan to get vaccinated, and you know, we have to be careful in these times because we have to be very cognizant of the decisions that we make that can affect others. And so, you know, if you can, wash your hands, you know, wash your hands, don't face cover, wear a face cover over your face, and being able to use your jaw, your ears to listen to all of those things that our people are trying to do to be able to protect our communities. Watch and observe with your eyes to make sure that we are aware of all of those things, and to remember to use our heads. Use our heads and our minds to be able to make good choices for our people. If you don't need to travel, don't travel. If you have relatives in your home that, you know, are health compromised, make sure that you go and you protect them too. And so that's always important. And so amongst the Dene communities, you know, many of us, we live in such a hard, you know, environment. Sometimes many of us, we take for granted the culture and the beauty of our people and protecting that sometimes, you know, we do selfish things just for us to be able to go get our KFC and things like that. And so we got to make good choices, some better choices of being able to do that. And, you know, it's all up to you. You by yourself, do one person yourself can make a difference. You yourself, you can make those changes yourself. So we love you all. We love you all, and so that's why we say that.
Yes, Masi Cho TJ Warner de la Navajo Nation. You know, I want to say, you know, you're very knowledgeable in this MCing and all the powwow ways, and you still have that radio voice, eh? I think Dr. Warren, eh?
I never put a lot of value on, you know, this Western education, you know, academia.
Yeah.
I started as a knowledge keeper in this community. And so just, you know, some people call me an old soul or an old, you know, person in a young man's body. And I came to a lot of these communities to be able to share about, you know, the beautiful ways of indigenous people. That's all it really was. And to connect with our youth. And so we have a lot of people that are displaced even in the urban settings. And so I have relatives that I took into my own home that take care of too. And so, you know, Jonathan Morris, a young relative here, he's half a Dene and half Navajo, half Cree. And so he's a young man that I made relationship with, planship, through kinship. relative.
Yeah.
And so with that, he moved into my house and he lives with me, and I try to guide him the best way I can too over these past few months. Adopted him to my home as my little brother. And so actually by clanship, we are brothers. And so that's very important to have those understandings of the importance of those values that we place in our kinships. And so acknowledging that is very important and being able to do that. So that's why we always say we introduce ourselves in our language.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very vital part because we make those connections with those things that we say. And so that's the way that we understand that. When I said I didn't value education, I shouldn't say that. You know, our people need to be able to educate themselves. And our young people, if you don't know the history of what your people have gone through, then you won't understand the barriers that you're going to face. And so if you learn that history, understand how our people overcame those things, you will be better for it. A lot of our communities, we say the foundation of our people is based on our cultural identities, the uniquenesses of our practices, and being able to have that spiritual connection and grounding. That's the foundation to, leading us into success in whatever realm we go into, whether it's academia, whether it's a workforce, whether it's into any type of trade area. Find those skills, learn those skills, because they'll take you a long way in life.
Nezun, TJ
yeah,
Warren. Yeah, I
Nezun,
just want to say thank you for all that information. And then we got what's his name?
Colin Stonechild.
Colin Stonechild.
This young man is an accomplished singer. Maybe I should intro him.
Yeah.
He's a singer that had sang with various groups over the years. And so he sang at one time, I think, with the Assiniboine Cree and also Southern Cree singers. Yeah, Stony Park. And he's also known as one of the head horses over at the Wild Horse Drum Group from right here in Treaty 6 territories. And he's very prominent in terms of his leadership that he's taken on right now, too, his role as a counselor in his community. And so, again, he's in that position to where he can speak to that aspect, whether it's leadership in a contemporary realm or, the traditional leadership that he is upholding from his own communities, too. And so not only just an accomplished singer, but also a great father and making his transition into becoming a great mentor and role model for our youth. So Colin Stonechild here.
Colin Stonechild. No halada yanse. Questions or crowd in there?
All right, that was a great introduction.
Yes, he's pretty good with
Yeah,
words,
TJ's great.
guy.
I've known him since he was a young man when he first started coming to Treaty 6 territory. So we're very blessed to have him with us. And I just want to thank Cal and the family and everyone here for inviting me in. I'm a big supporter and advocate for this kind of stuff, and it felt good today because I heard you guys over talking about some of the stuff in the pandemic that we've been in. And it's as a leader in my community, as a headman, we don't use the colonial term where we come from as a counselor. We use it as a headman. When we signed treaty as Treaty 4, I'm from Papikassis Cree Nation. It was our chief and his headman.
Yeah.
So we've kind of, there's a few nations that the terminology is getting away from the colonial terminology. So we're just moving forth with that, and I'm very blessed to be a leader in my community. That our people have had the faith, and I'm halfway through my term.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that I heard you guys talk and TJ talk about. We're in a pandemic right now, and I haven't been venturing out and being able to sing. And they had mentioned that I have my own drum group, and I participated in this lifestyle since a young man.
Yeah.
And it felt good today to sit around the drum and some of my relatives and guys that I've grown up in, these young, like Nathaniel and Adrian, and seeing them when they were little boys grow up into men singers sitting around the drum. You know what I mean? And
now you get to sit with them.
Yeah, I get to sit with them, and it felt good. They're young and motivated, fresh voices, and it felt really good today. And it felt good for me to sing and crack that throat for a while.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while, so I mean, it's we've been all staying home, trying to be safe, and that's something that I'm an advocate of too, is staying safe and being vigilant with where we're at, and with the rollout in our regions. And I know in the north, most of your followers are from the far north.
Yeah.
The vaccines rolling out, and I know a lot of the phase that the north is coming to their second stage of their vaccination. And myself, I'm an advocate for the vaccine. I've had my first dose as a leadership, as a frontline worker. I potentially this Wednesday I'll get my second dose, and our elders in our community have been vaccinated their first dose. So, I'm an advocate. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the people that the what do they call it? The anti-vaccinators or the
don't listen to the conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy guys out there saying that they're implanting chips or changing our DNA. It's very similar to the flu shot that we've all had in our communities for many years. I didn't really have any side effects, getting that vaccine, and I've had a conversation with Cal about vaccinations and stuff like that, and he's a big advocate. I know he's campaigning hard for the community and our urban people as well. Even us, we're as of the 22nd in our region, they're rolling out a plan for our 70 plus elders to get vaccinated in the Regina area. So I'm fortunate that I've been able to take the vaccine, and I always said to myself, with that stereotypes, the fear behind the vaccine, not that I'm taking a vaccine away from an elder or anybody, but I'm encouraging. And why would I not take a vaccine that if they weren't scared, if they're scared to take it, if I'm encouraging our elders to take it, I should take it too as a leader. And I encourage all of our leadership and all of our frontline workers to take it, to set that example for our elders, so there's that fear's not there.
Yeah, they actually, in one of my classes, I'm a university student at the U of R, and we had an elder come up. He's from the Piapot First Nation, and before they start their classes, he will share a story or a prayer or a song. And one of the stories he shared about the vaccine, he said that the spirits, they came to me, in the spirit world when I was sleeping, and they told him to take the vaccine, and that's what got him to get vaccinated. And then that was over about a month ago. So now I'm sure he's waiting on a second one.
So that story makes me feel really good, because I know there's a lot of fear behind it and a lot of negative towards it in certain communities. But those kind of elders need to be in the forefront and tell their story and make sure that our old people are safe, because statistics with the numbers of people that we're losing from COVID it's very high in First Nations across Canada, and it's in the elderly. So I think that we need to protect them and make sure that, even in my own community, we've lost elders to COVID. And in our region, we've lost a lot of elders to COVID. So, I just want to thank again Cal and the dance troupe here for inviting me out. It made me feel good, because I haven't, I know a lot of people are struggling with mental health and a lot of being cooped up, and it's escalated, but our numbers are going down. But it almost felt like we weren't in a pandemic today, sitting around the drum and listening and watching everybody dance and listening to the stories.
Can feel the good.
Yeah, that Mimatsu, and in our language, I'm very blessed that I know my Cree language as well. And to feel that Mimatsu and Miomatsu and that good life, that good feeling, that the drum and the dancers and just the spirit in here, I just want to be able to thank Cal and the organizers here and yourself for bringing your podcast. I watch you guys often with Nathan Arias. See, I am from Treaty 4 and my mom's from Treaty 6, so I grew up most of my life in around the North Battleford area. So I'm both, but I'm from Treaty 4, grew up in Treaty 6, and I'm very fortunate that I have that scope of people and people that I can outreach to, and have friends, and with my powwow, my work, with my sports and rec. Me and Cal grew up together back in the day. We played hockey against right until we were in our senior hockey days, and he's a good guy. I grew up with him, and he's a role model as a family man. With his kids and his sister and his parents, they're really close with my late dad, and Big Bird and Lorna and my mom are really close friends growing up. So me and Cal have known each other our whole lives since we were little kids, and back in Battleford we were Friendship Center kids together. So we were advocates of the Friendship Center, and I know that some of these mom and them do work here in the city, and going forward, with a lot of the things here, the youth and, the things that he's representing it felt good today, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I believe Cal's planning a little bit more of this stuff. And, I encourage our leadership and our people that are like yourself to partake in. And I heard TJ talk about it, our cultural identity.
Yeah.
And a lot of our cultural identity is, they don't go back far enough all the time. They go back to, whatever, our identity of residential school or whatever it is. We got to start going back pre-colonialism
Before
to our earth and roots and our, our ceremonies and our languages. And it's not very often that, I'm from the prairies that we hear a lot of people speak their language, and I really appreciate and I admire you for what you do, because there's not many people that in our region, that have that language. And I appreciate you and TJ, and and I'm a big advocate for, and Cal as well. I'm a big advocate for the language. And you know what I mean? And that's for all of the traumas and all of the things that have happened to Indian people. I really think the key to it is being able to identify our language and just live with a kind, loving, and most of all, the most important thing for Indian people to get behind all of the trauma is forgiveness.
Yeah.
I really think if we live those, and that we're doing in our language, our morals, humility, love, respect, kindness, and forgiveness is a big thing in my life. And that's, I didn't always walk that red road as a young man.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I have lots of things to do and gain with my children. But I mean, I really appreciate Cal for inviting me here, and the things moving forward, and it was a great day. I just came in, and it was just to stretch the legs and see the boys and, have a good laugh with the guys around the jump.
Vocal cords there.
Oh, yeah, I stretched them out, and it felt good to...
World champion, world-class singer.
Former world champion.
I was very fortunate growing up to be able to partake with my drum group and, Shkimitsin and Gathering of Nations, and those championship days they're behind me, but I still admire, I'm very fortunate, and I'm very thankful for the opportunities I've had as an Indian person to be able to partake in a lot of that championship singing. But again, Alan's here, and I want to thank you for having me, and we'll see you again.
Masi Cho, it's good to meet you.
Hi. Here you go, Alan.
Could do Colin Stone Child you just pull my grades. Colin Stone Child Treaty 4 Nanos, how young is Tila? Yeah, said vaccine basu na tu Bechala Nien na tu get all new, and could do Zineke. We got another guy from the drum group here. How you doing?
I'm Nazoo Salah.
Nazoo Salah. Yeah, just get you to introduce yourself for the viewers here.
Yes, Chad, do I have to?
Yeah, you have to.
My name's Alan Bonays, and I'm from the Little Pine First Nation. And what do you call it? I got asked to come and sing a couple days ago, and so I brought my drum, and the drum group I'm sitting with is a mixture of different drums, and we got our songs together. And some of these songs that we sang are from communities such as Michigan, North Dakota, Montana, Saskatchewan. Some of these songs go back to the 40s, and a lot of times us as First Nations people, we do a lot of sharing. And so a lot of these songs, like I said, that we sang here for you today are what do you call it? Some of the top 10 songs throughout the years. My drum is what do you call it? Was purchased by I purchased it from my nephew, and I was trying to bring my drum group back because my drum group was an old drum group, and but COVID came along. I was trying to get my boy to start singing, and he was singing with me today. So, but the drum itself is my language. You call it Mystikwaski, and Mystik is like wood, and Aski is the earth that we walk on, and put that together. That's the name of it. And represents the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And so there's so many songs that we sing every ceremony, every celebration we have. We have a drum, we have song. It goes hand in hand with prayer, and so these drums that we have, we take good care of them and we call them like a moshum as our grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So we take care of it as such as our grandfather would be. We never let it sit alone. We never let it sit on the ground. We always have something that for that drum to sit on. We never put anything on the drum. And the only thing we put on there is tobacco, just like when we would offer our grandfather teachings, and we give an offering. That's the only thing that sits on that drum. And what do you call it? There's different colors of these drums that we have, and each has a representation. But red is usually the norm for a lot of our Cree drums, and red is a representation of the South. It represents blood, and it represents life, and it represents holiness. So myself, I'm one of the older singers out there nowadays. I'm 53 years old, and back in the day, I was always the youngest one. Now I'm always the oldest one, you know.
Yeah,
And
you're a veteran now.
veteran. But,
Yeah.
so a lot of the songs that we're singing today, I shared with the boys, and they're able to sing them, and they're all a bunch of young guys, really good singers and stuff like that. So, but also too, this drum was a gift to us through dream. A lot of these spiritual ceremonies and these holy objects that we have, they weren't just made up. They were given to us to dreams and passed on to the men, passed on from tribe to tribe. And so this drum, like I just said, it's been here for as long as we possibly been here on this Turtle Island that they call, you know. So yeah, do you have any questions at all?
I just want to, first say beautiful music. I mean, obviously, you said you've been doing it a long time, and now you're leading the way for the young people there. What made you get into the drum there? Was it just something that was in your family and singing and all that stuff?
What do you call it? I learned how to talk and sing at the same time, and I learned how to sing through ceremonies, sundances, and as I grew older, my voice was. I had to develop it, and I developed it at those gatherings, such as powwows and round dances, and so the ceremonial aspect of it, like I just said, it played a part, and learning how to walk, learning how to pray, all these things came hand in hand with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, one of my shows there, is how to encourage the young people to get into this. If there's anything you would want to say, whether it's the Dene community or the Cree community, we're all one. What would you say to the young people to pick up the drum and listen to the old people and keep this knowledge alive?
Well, there's Dene singing that they have so many different types, like the Navajo people themselves. They have different style of singing, and also to the excuse me, the Dene people from northern Alberta. They kept their traditions, and they have a beautiful style of singing up there. And I've been lucky to travel all over, and I've heard that. And also too, like I just said, throughout our country, there's different styles of singing, but a lot of it, I would say, a lot support from chief and council and other businesses and stuff like that to support people coming in to teach. And it's so important to get the protocols and the right way of asking and doing things, and the history, and and still the young people, the younger the better.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you're older, you can always learn, but for it to be natural, those little kiddies have to hear that. And so there's going to be a lot of the young people of your communities or whoever it is, they're going to be starting it off. But it's all over. There's people that do that, to this day, that are just starting off right now.
Yeah.
And a building process, and but it can be done. And it's such a good way of life for people if they want to curb away from drugs and alcohol, curb away from these negative things. I work in a jail, and I see a lot of our people in there, and I see culture as a means of turning things around, and it's a beautiful thing. So the young people themselves, like it says, you got YouTube. There's so many things you can look and learn for as a starter, eh?
Yeah.
And then so yeah.
Yeah, that's some good points. I mean, everything now is all online, and obviously, we just did a virtual powwow, and just having the willingness just to, say, hey, to go towards the red road, that takes a lot of courage, and even to pick up the drum, it takes a lot of courage because a lot of times, we face shame or something like that, lateral violence, but it's never too late to start. Just like Dene Yati made a video, and here we are. I'm sitting with you live. We just did a virtual powwow. And yeah, I don't know if we're going to get Cal in here to finish her off, but if you got anything else you want to add there.
What do you call it? Like I just said, I'm 53 and I've gone all over. I used to go to school in residential school in northern Saskatchewan. Well, northern for me, Beauval Indian Residential School. And when I was there, I didn't know what Dene was. I grew up with white people and I didn't know what Dene was. I thought that's all that the Indians were was Cree. It's all I didn't know. And Métis, I didn't know about Métis either, and I was introduced to that, and so I went to so many communities to stay with my friends in Turner Lake, Dillon, and these communities opened me up to the language. And back then, I probably knew about 32 Dene words, but that's a long time ago. But in my jail, there's probably at least 20 people in there that are Dene, and these guys, they come to our cultural center, they come to our sweat lodges and everything, and they love it. They learn the drum. And I got people from La Loche that are there, and so many different other communities. And like I just said, for us, it's an open door. And I know that a lot of the boys from these Dene communities, as soon as they grab a hold of it, they're so strong, because it's a hard way of life. But anything that's hard, it always seems to hold on to it more, and it helps you out. Anything that comes easy, comes and goes. You don't give a care about it, So yeah, that's about all.
Yeah, I want to say thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today, and obviously you're a respected elder around the drum group and in your community and your career too. Keep up the good work and keep the people at the red road. I myself walked the red road as well, and it's a beautiful thing, man. Masicho. Good didn't I get one more? Cal Arkan, my bro, all the way from the Big River. No, Muskeg, eh?
Muskeg Lake, yeah.
Muskeg Lake. There he's
They say Muskeg Lake Cotsinia. So I'm from Muskeg.
Yeah.
So in the language we say Muskego Sagaigane.
Muskego Sagaigane.
Yeah, and our original chief that signed treaty is Pitiquakio.
Pitiquakio.
Yeah, and we're going through a special time in our community as well as we go through election time. It's my first time that I'm putting my name forward to run for off reserve council.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 5 counselors in our reserve and 1 off reserve. And majority of our community is off reserve in Muskeg. And so just been reaching out and trying to promote healthy elections. I know that our young people are always watching us. So we want to give them a good representation of leadership. And I think it starts with our elections, showing the young people a good way to promote yourself, but not bring each other down. I think sometimes, not to knock anybody, Willis,
No,
but
it's got to be said.
A lot of it is learned behavior.
Yeah.
So if we learned that, we seen this stuff, and we're encouraging our kids to dislike a certain person or a certain family, they're going to pick that up, and the next generation is going to bring that into our community. I think what I'm going to do, if I'm unsuccessful or successful, either way, I want to set that standard where we promote each other in a good way. I'm having some fun with it. I'm going on social media. For those of you who aren't friends of mine on Facebook, please join in and hear what I have to say. I don't think I know everything, like some of the guys that were speaking here, certainly knowledge keepers in their own right, Willis. So one of the TP poles, the TP teachings, when you look at that concept, and you can Google it for those of you who don't really understand what I'm saying, it's every TP pole has a value. It could be love, sharing, honor, good child rearing, respect, all those good things. And when we reflect those upon ourselves and share that positive energy with others, the young people will pick that up too. So
Yeah,
I just
comes back
want
to us.
It does. It does in a good way. And again, I know nothing. I'm humble. What I do know,
You're a
I
handsome
don't mind
guy.
sharing. I'm nice and brown and fluffy.
Yeah.
A little bit hot, but I'm gonna go grab some lunch. I want to thank all the people in Dene, Mercy Cho, Leonard Mongrat, Friendship Center, Willis, all you people that 9 times out of 10 are the people that are promoting healthy lifestyles in Laloche, in Whitefish. Our good buddy out there, Clifford.
Yeah,
I want
Clifford.
to shout out to Clifford. Hi, Denigi, Mercy Cho, Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much, Willis. Dene Yati.
Merci,
All right.
Cho, Cal.
Many nations.
Thanks. Oh, hey, Salot in a kudu. Almost at the top of the hour here. Nezu. No, but that's in daily hell. And it's in. Yes, the comments. No, it's in it. Throw it out there. No, hell, yes, to a couple minutes. Oh, I can take my mask off now. And then maybe Saliente. No, hal sido new. It's in. It's in. Balal Yade, Halt I Dogouts in Ultasi Masi Cho Dene Yati podcast Dogouts in supported us easy. Dene Yatie no Yatie Bedrel Yondel obviously do no Yatie la Akole do Zinek a Yans no Halias Tia. So Selien Yans Lasi Hen no Hal. Hello.
Hello.
Celotin.
Celotine.
No Haba.
No haba.
Harelia.
Harelia.
Wale.
Wale.
Yes, Nazu Salad in an Obarel. What kind of hat are you wearing? This is hat from I don't know, one of the malls. Yeah, Salad in a doing Zinik and Masti in a Harusun Dene Yati podcast. See Willis Jean Vehushin in Telas Tours in Clearwater River Dene Nation band member at the SLU. And then today we come to you live from the Treaty 6 territory, Saskatoon area. I want to say thank you to the many nations dancers for their wonderful showcase, their wonderful dancing. And then the Saskatoon Berries drum group, Masi Cho. And then I can't forget Clifford Laprice. And then a big shout out to my bro Leonard Montgrand. You know, you make things happen all the time. Masi Cho, Selot in it. We will see you this week on Dene Yati podcast. Have a good day at the Dose New. Bye.